Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you Hominy corn porridge with condensed milk. Alright, so you're gonna need some hominy corn, quarter cup of hominy corn, sugar, brown sugar, half cup of brown sugar, a pinch of sea salt, 3/4 cup of cornmeal refined, and condensed milk. You're gonna need a quarter cup of condensed milk. About 2 to 3 cinnamon leaves. If you don't have cinnamon leaf, you can use cinnamon powder like a pinch, and it's optional. Couple grinds of nutmeg, or quarter teaspoon. Quarter teaspoon of coconut oil or olive oil. And you're gonna need a pan, saucer pan. I'm gonna pressure cook the hominy corn for 12 minutes in 4 cups of water. Alright, nutmeg. Alright, so now measure your cornmeal. 3/4 cups. 3/4 cup. And measure now 2 cups of water. And then pour it on the cornmeal in a container. And just allow the cornmeal to soak. We do this so that your porridge won't be lumpy when you add the cornmeal to the porridge. Make it easier to stir too. In all, we're going to use 6 cups of water. Alright, so now, alright, this spoon that scoops measures quarter cup. Alright, you don't need, you don't need to use plenty hominy corn. Quarter cup is good enough for 6 cups of water in all. Alright, so just rinse it. Just rinse it off with some fresh water. Like this, and then throw this water off. Alright, so now add 4 cups of water. Alright, now put to heat a pressure cooker. Put the stove gauge on 6 so you can get the flame going, the heat going. Make sure the pressure cooker lid is put on properly. Once it starts to whistle, we're going to time it for 12 minutes. Alright, once it starts to whistle, put your timer for 12 minutes. And put your stove gauge flame on 4, medium low. Alright. After the time, just remove the pot from over the heat. That took 12 minutes. Alright. If you're in a hurry, all you have to do is run the pot over running water until it releases, till the pressure releases. Alright, once it cools, this is what it looks like. Alright, the first sign to know that your hominy corn is ready is when it splits. And if you don't want to pressure cook it, you just boil it for several hours until it splits. Like this. Alright, so you just take this hominy corn stock, or corn stock, and just pour it in your saucer pan that you're going to boil the porridge in. Now, the cornmeal, you just stir it in. You stir it into this kind of kind of bring up the cornmeal in the liquid so that when you pour it, everything just pour one time. Like this. One pour. The cornmeal and the water is in the pot. Alright. Now, put your stove's gauge on low, almost off low. Like simmering. Put the stove's flame on low. Add the cinnamon leaves, and it's optional. Alright, now just stir in gently for a little while, for a short little while. Alright, now use the pot's lid and cover properly and allow. Alright, so you want to make sure the stove is this low. I'm just showing you an example. Almost off low. Alright, after 10 minutes, you just stir it in. You see, cornmeal swells as it get hot. So we're gonna slow brew this porridge. So you see it got thicker. That's the idea. But you want it to get thick slowly. So now add a teaspoon to a tablespoon of coconut oil or olive oil. And a teaspoon, half a teaspoon or quarter teaspoon of vanilla extract. Alright, stir in, cover and allow. Properly and allow. Cover it properly and allow. Add your nutmeg. Nutmeg. Add your nutmeg. About a quarter teaspoon of grinded nutmeg. Alright, remember now you can use a pinch of cinnamon powder for cinnamon leaf, and it's optional. You don't have to use any cinnamon leaf nor powder. And you can use olive oil. Cover and allow. Alright, so you gotta watch the flame. Make sure it don't go out and it's on low. Alright, after 25 minutes in total since you start brewing porridge, this is what it looks like. So you just stir it in. It's swelling slowly but surely. I'm in a corn. So you just stir it in thoroughly from bottom to top. Cover and allow. Alright. That's what it looks like, the flame. After 40 minutes in total since we start brewing, this is what the porridge look like. And keep it covered within the time. Don't open it every minute. I didn't open it in between the time. You've seen it the first time like me. So you just stir it in properly. Try get to the edges. Now add sugar. I'm using brown sugar, but you can use granulated sugar. So half cup of brown sugar or sugar. And stir the sugar in properly. Take a good minute and stir in. You see how it's not brewing lumpy? That's the idea. Alright, so once you do that, you just use the pot's lid and cover it sealed properly and allow and watch the flame. If it's going too fast, you can always turn it down or up. See, I turn this down a little bit because I want the current. I just want it to brew a little slower. Alright, now after 50 minutes, it's getting thicker. You just stir it in. See, the bottom is thick. I'm telling you what it feels like. It's the bottom is thick, like it's almost sticking to the bottom. But once you start stirring it, it will just free up. Alright, now would be the best time to add. Once the cornmeal is broken down properly, the best time to add the milk is now, which is 50 minutes after. So you just measure out quarter cup of condensed milk. Add and stir in properly. The only difference between this recipe and the coconut powder is that with this recipe I used more cornmeal because the condensed milk is like liquid, so it will make the porridge light if you didn't use more cornmeal. So with this one I use 3/4 cups of cornmeal, and with the coconut powder I use half cup of cornmeal. So alright, once you add the condensed milk, you just stir in properly. Just cover it and allow in. I can smell the aroma. It's rising. Alright, you gotta watch the flame. Now I'm just gonna turn it back up a little bit. It's like a gauging between low flame. It's like gauging between low flames or low flame. You see, the sweat from the lid is gonna make the porridge moist. So at this stage, when you want it to be thick, you gotta watch that. At some point I'm gonna take the lid off. Alright, so it's been an hour and this is what it looks like. And remember now, keep the lid on covered within the time. Alright, so it's best if you use a wooden spoon like this. That way it won't scrape up your pot if you're using a good pot like this. So you just stir it in. It's gonna feel thick and sticking to the bottom, but just stir it in. It will free up and and creamify itself. Alright, that's what you want. Alright, I just use quarter cup of corn. You don't need plenty corn, but if you want, you can get away with using half cup. Say you're selling it, 'cause if you're selling it, I guess you have to use more corn. Alright, so that's the idea. Let's cover it and allow. Alright, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. So it's getting thicker. Alright, so the stirring properly. Alright. You see the lid is keeping the porridge moist. Get around to the edges and stir in properly. Alright, so this time now, I'm not going to put a lid on. I'm just going to leave it uncovered for the next 5 minutes. Look at that bubbles. You see the bubbles getting thicker? Once the bubbles start hitting and splashing all over the place, that's when it's thick enough. Alright, so it's been 3 minutes since the 1 hour 10 minutes. So now it's 1 hour and 13 minutes. So this 13, leave it 13 properly. You see, some of the water from within the porridge will evaporate while if you leave the lid off. Hence, making the porridge thicker. Alright, so just allow, I'm gonna let it brew for 2 more minutes. Once the bubbles start splashing and hitting, that's a sign to say it's thick enough. Alright, so watch your pot, stir it in. This porridge took 1 hour and 50 minutes on low flame to brew. Or boil. Brew is the same thing. It's like processing. So I'm just using the definition out of my head. I don't know the exact definition, but common sense tells me that brewing, you can use the same phrase as brewing and boiling. So stir it in properly. And two, before I forget, once it cools or while cooling, it will get thicker. while it cools, it get thick. Alright, so that's it. Finish. Turn it off. And get ready to serve. Oh yes, and this is a servings. This is servings for 2 persons. Alright, it's best serve now. Alright, so just get a spoon that scoops and just scoop some of this Hominy corn porridge in a bowl for serving. So this is Hominy corn condensed milk. So this is Hominy corn porridge condensed milk. Hominy corn porridge condensed milk. Alright, let's taste this thing. Leftovers can leave in the fridge for no more than 2 days for freshness. Alright, so it's thick and creamy and lump free. Alright, this tastes good. It's not sweet. It's just perfect. It's just a nice porridge. The Hominy corn is tender and nice. It's just nice. Delicious. You see, I skim off the top because the top get cool. It's getting cooler. It's cooler. So it's easier for me to just slurp this porridge. Alright, see you. Oh yes, crackers, you can have crackers with this. Although if you ask me, it's not necessary. Hominy corn is filling. When you're done eat this, man, you're gonna feel full for a little while. And with this recipe, the 1/4 cup of hominy corn is sufficient. You don't need plenty. If you use too much, it's not gonna be as fun. To It's hot, man. It's hot. You gotta cool it. It's really hot. Almost burned me just now. You see, you have to blow on it like this. Okay, first of all, excuse me. This might not be proper for some people to see, but I just want to show you how tender the corn is. Alright. Visit my website, jamaicadinners.com, for the recipe. Share, like. Bye. And promote and subscribe. Bye.
Yeah, man!